I get it, you're standing in the middle of a job site, a fresh slab of concrete or a new wall layout, and you're wondering whether splurging on a high-end rotary laser is worth it or if you'd be better off borrowing a friend's cheap unit. You've probably already looked at a couple of YouTube demos, skimmed the specs, and felt that familiar tug of doubt. What if it can't keep up with the rough conditions I work in? What if the accuracy drops after a few hours and I have to keep releveling? That hesitation is exactly why I wanted to break down the Leica Geosystems Rugby 640 before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what it actually does in the field, who gets the most bang for their buck, and where it might fall short. First off, the Rugby 640 is a dual-axis rotary laser that can self-level both horizontally and vertically, plus it throws a 90-degree beam for those tight corner checks. In plain language, that means you can set it up once, walk around the perimeter of a room, and get a perfectly level line no matter whether you're checking a floor height, a ceiling height, or a wall slope. The manual slope mode is handy when you need a controlled incline, think installing a wheelchair ramp or setting a pitched roof line. The laser's accuracy is listed as 1.5 mm at 30 m, which translates to roughly 1/16 inch ch at 100 feet, and that's the kind of tolerance most contractors consider on point for interior work and even for many exterior grading jobs. So, why does that matter day to day? Imagine you're a framing carpenter laying out a floor joist layout on a new basement. You need the joists to be level across the entire space, but the floor isn't perfectly flat. With a single-axis laser, you'd have to keep readjusting the unit as you move around, and every little shift could throw your measurements off. The Rugby's self-leveling dual-axis locks both the horizontal and vertical planes, so once you turn it on you can walk the whole room, snap a few points, and know they're all referencing the same true level. I've seen crews finish a 2,000 square foot basement layout in about half the time they'd need with a cheaper unit that can't hold both axes steady. Another real-world scenario is a concrete contractor pouring a slab that needs a precise slope for drainage. The manual slope function lets you set a consistent gradient, and the laser will maintain that angle as you move the rod around the site. You'll end up with a uniform slope without having to constantly pull out a level and remeasure. That kind of consistency can be the difference between a slab that drains properly and one that pools water, something that can bite you later with repair costs. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that stand out once you have the Rugby in your toolbox. First, the dual-axis self-leveling is genuinely smooth. The motor takes a second or two to lock in, and the laser stays steady even if the tripod is nudged by a passing worker. The 90-degree beam is bright enough to cut through dust and low light, so you're not squinting to see the line on a dim construction site. Battery life is respectable. A single charge gets you through an 8-hour day, which aligns well with most job schedules. Finally, the unit's rugged housing is built for the sort of drops and bumps you'll inevitably give it on a busy site. You'll find it sitting in a toolbox for months without any noticeable wear. But no tool is perfect, and the Rugby 640 does have a few trade-offs you should weigh. The biggest one is price. Leica's reputation for precision comes with a premium tag that can be a stretch for hobbyists or small-scale remodelers who only need a laser a few times a year. If you're a weekend DIYer, you might get away with a single-axis model that costs a fraction of the Rugby. Another nuance is the learning curve for the manual slope mode. It's powerful, but you have to set the angle carefully and then verify with a separate level until you're comfortable. Some users report that the onboard angle readout can be a little fuzzy when you first turn it on, so double-checking with a digital inclinometer isn't a bad habit. Who should definitely consider the Rugby 640? If you're a professional contractor framing, concrete, flooring, or site layout who needs reliable, repeatable accuracy across large areas, the investment pays off. It's also a solid pick for surveyors or anyone doing repetitive leveling tasks where time saved adds directly to profit margins. The unit shines in environments where you need both a level plane and a vertical reference, like aligning walls to a ceiling height while also marking a floor level. For those who run a small crew and need to keep equipment portable, The Rugby's compact design still packs the dual-axis capability without the bulk of some older rotary lasers. On the flip side, if you're